To the healthy fan that I've missed so much, I'm now going to take you along for the ride on where I've been, what happened to me, and how it caused me to double down on my healthy habits. I almost died in childbirth. It did not go the way that it planned. I have 5 children, and I am trying to live my healthiest life so that I can be present for them. As a doctor, I know how important this is. As a doctor who's board certified in lifestyle medicine, I have the skills to do this. So I'm going to share all of my healthy habits with you. I hope you join this YouTube community so that you can also live your healthiest life. We've got to change our habits one small step at a time, and I know together we can do that. I'm gonna go prep a citrus salad, and you're gonna see my birth story video right here. Please comment and share with me what your challenges currently are and why you're trying to live your healthiest life and who you have to live it for. I am extremely grateful to be here and to have a beautiful, healthy baby. But things went very, very wrong in the delivery of my 5th child, and I had a very rare complication. I went into labor. Naturally, I was in the peace of my own home, having contractions. They woke me up from sleep. I went out to the living room. I was bouncing on a birthing ball. I woke up my husband after an hour of consistent, regular contractions. We called my sister-in-law to come to the house and stay with my other children. We woke up my oldest daughter to tell her that we were on the way to have a baby, and everything was going perfectly. I arrived at the hospital, and my midwife wasn't there yet. She was there by about 6 a.m. and we decided to check to see what my progress was. I was 8 centimeters dilated. Here we're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so great. We're going to have a baby within the next hour. That was not the case. And this was probably the first indication that something started to go very wrong. So my contractions went from a beautiful pattern of every 2 minutes contracting 1 minute long to every 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes. And we started talking about interventions. And I did not want to have any interventions. I wanted to have a beautiful, unmedicated vaginal delivery like I did with my previous 4 children. I wanted my husband to deliver the baby. I wanted to be present for every moment. I wanted to remember it all. And so I said, if we're going to break my water and have a baby, I'm getting an epidural. And I'd never done that before. And I can see why you moms do it, because I had an anesthesiologist come and it was phenomenal. We decided to break my water. That really didn't do anything. And I still wasn't having a baby. I was in every position that you can think of. I was on every single birth ball that we had in that hospital. And yet I wasn't delivering a baby like we expected. So about 20 minutes before I delivered this beautiful baby, I developed severe right-sided abdominal pain. I'm talking pain that was so bad. I had to lay on my side, hold my hand into my abdomen like I had the worst stitch of my life. I could feel the pain when my belly jiggled. I could feel the pain in the bottom part of my stomach, in the top part of my stomach, everywhere in my stomach. And it had nothing to do with labor pain. My midwife came to check me and she said, actually, the baby is pretty far down in your birth canal. So let's just have a baby. At this point, my blood pressure is going down. My heart rate is going up. I am in excruciating pain. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world am I going to push out a baby? So my desire for this peaceful delivery quickly turned into a very eventful, very crazy show where I am laying on my right side, holding my abdomen in with all of my might, pushing without contractions to try to have a baby through this horrible pain. And I am pushing him out. My blood pressure plummets to 70/40. My heart rate is going up. I feel like I'm going to puke. They put a cold cloth over my head and I reach down and I can feel my baby's head. So I know something is happening. My husband tries to stay with me because he thinks something is really wrong. And I'm like, no, 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 go deliver the baby, go deliver the baby. And so I made him go down and deliver the baby because that's really what I wanted. That was the whole point of this epidural, right? Well, he did. He got to deliver the baby. I had a vaginal delivery. He came out exactly as expected. His APGARs were 8 and 9, despite his heart rate also going down as I was developing this pain. But we thought that was due to him being low in the birth canal, my blood pressure going down, which could have been due to the epidural, my heart rate going up. Who knows, right? After I delivered him, they put him on my belly. I was crying. It was beautiful. I'm still on my side with this pain and it will not go away. The OB who was on call happened to walk into the room and she said, something is not right here. Fast forward another 10 minutes. I was down in stat CT for a CT scan. I get wheeled back up to the room, which was the most excruciating ride of my entire life. And I am sitting there barely holding my baby. The surgeon walks in and says, you're bleeding into your abdomen and I am taking you to surgery right now. I'm going to try to do a laparoscopic approach where I can go in and stop the bleeding. But honestly, worst case scenario, I have to open your stomach and perform a hysterectomy. I think I was in too much shock to actually even respond because I didn't even really understand what she was saying. But I signed these consent forms for surgery and anesthesia. And then I had nurses coming up to me saying, I think you should take off all your jewelry so that you can get to surgery. So when I got to surgery, I was wheeled in. I see the lights. I see the surgeon. I start counting down in my mask. And that is all I remember. The surgery was longer than it should have been, longer than was planned, because what they found was a rupture of my uterus. So I experienced a spontaneous uterine rupture. And that rupture had extended into the uterine artery, which was actively bleeding out into my abdomen. The broad ligament had also ruptured and shredded, and that's the ligament that holds the uterus in place. And so that team worked as swiftly as they could. I ended up with an open abdominal surgery, general anesthesia for over 2 hours, over 2 liters of blood loss, and a husband who was left in a postpartum room, skin to skin with this baby, giving him donor milk just within an hour after he was born. There's obviously a lot to unpack here, and this video is extremely long. The outcome of that surgery for me was a hysterectomy, 3 units of blood, lots of fluid, and an extended hospital stay. But I am alive. My baby is alive. And I know that this is an extremely rare complication. If you choose to look this up, the fetal outcomes, the baby outcomes in a spontaneous uterine rupture are horrible. I would not look that up. Thank God we did not know that that was what was going on until after he was born. I had access to an amazing surgical team, blood products, rapid identification of the problem, and a very competent surgeon who quite literally saved my life. I'm 4 weeks postpartum and post-op today, and physically I'm doing really well. I really attribute all of that to my healthy lifestyle. If you follow me for any amount of time, you know that I eat a lot of whole foods, I cook a lot at home, and I'm really getting into weightlifting and making my body as strong as possible. And for those reasons, I was able to leave the hospital after 4 days. I was able to come home to my family, and I have been able to recover in a reasonably good amount of time. Emotionally, I'm up and down. I feel like I've now allowed myself to be an open book. So I will continue to share in the hopes that I can encourage you all to live a healthier lifestyle. We can do that together here as part of a community. I can maybe help somebody know what a spontaneous uterine rupture with a hemorrhage could look like, and they could identify it for themselves or for their patient and save somebody else's life. I think we've all lived long enough to know that life is going to happen. Don't wait for it to happen to you. Don't wait until your health is compromised to make a healthy change. Subscribe to this channel today, and let's get our healthy habits back on track together. I'll see you on the next video when I share a recipe for this citrus salad.